portrait of Mackenzie King, one of Canada's longest-serving prime ministers. Remember, he was the prime minister that nobody ever voted for, but he kept on getting re-elected time and time again. So Craig Oliver was walking through these halls the other day, stopped and looked at the portrait of Mackenzie King, and he got to thinking. Here's Craig's take.
Tom, it's possible that Stephen Harper may be well on his way to becoming one of the most successful Liberal prime ministers in many years. He may even be close to achieving his long-sought goal of seeing the Conservatives replacing Liberals as Canada's natural governing party. If he does get there, he will have done it in the good old-fashioned Liberal way. It's a long time since he and the Reformers came riding in from the West, guns blazing, contemptuous of everything having to do with Ottawa. Not for those penny-pinching moralists, fancy dress balls, fat bureaucrats, and soft-on-crime judges. But Stephen Harper knew, even if they didn't, that such a narrow base would never take them to national power. He undertook the tricky business of putting his shoulder under the Conservative Party once he and Peter MacKay had brought it together and heaving it into the political center, which is where, that great Liberal thinker Keith Davey once said, is where Canadians are at and where elections are won. Having seized that high ground, Harper went on to seize three of the most skillful Liberal techniques for getting and holding power. Divide the enemy forces and thus weaken them. That's why the Conservative government these days is doing anything it can to help Jack Layton look good. Whenever the NDP runs strong, it bleeds votes from the Liberals, electing Conservatives in many ridings. For years, Conservatives, including Mr. Harper, railed against big-spending liberalism. Then along came the global economic meltdown. It allowed Harper to get the gold medal as the biggest spender of them all. Even better, doing it without any blame being attached. Since bribing Canadians with their own tax money worked so well for years for the Liberals, Conservatives aren't going to let Canadians forget to whom they owe thanks for all that cash flowing into their communities. Finally, of all the arts of Liberal necromancy, none of them served them better than this. Do whatever, say whatever to win. Once in power, leaders can always find ways to fudge and modify past pledges. Remember Chrétien's no GST, Pierre Trudeau's no wage and price controls, and Harper's promise to pensioners that he'd never eliminate dividend-paying income trusts. Come to think of it, who was it that was a strict disciplinarian, a pillar of the business community, and almost certainly a small-c conservative when he entered politics? Why, Mackenzie King, of course, who was always comfortable being whatever he had to be at any given moment. So step aside, Mackenzie. Make way for the new king, Harper. Maybe.